Yo, what's going on? It's Sunny here with another video coming live from an undisclosed location in the United Kingdom. Let me first of all mute this thing because I don't want it to bring in the middle of the live stream. Appreciate everybody that's connecting now. They will connect later. Shout out to all of you, Paul, Masick. Hopefully I didn't botch that too bad. Dre121 B more. What up, man? Shout out to all of you. Thank you for joining the live stream. Today we're going to talk Jacksonville Jaguars and Baltimore Ravens. We can also discuss some playoff scenarios if you want and if we have time. Shout out to you, Thomas Morgan. Good morning to all of you. It's almost dinner time here. I'm roasting a pork shoulder over there, so that should be good while I watch this game. Hopefully a blowout, but you cannot take anybody out. And let's start with this. Look at the inactives today. For Baltimore, Mark Ingram. Mark Ingram should have been inactive for a while now. He's there, and that's fine. He should have. But these are two interesting names, Jimmy Smith and Marcus Peters. Those two names, what tells me is, well, Jimmy Smith has been hurt for a while. Jimmy Smith should not be playing any more games for the rest of the year. Think about this. Who does the Jacksonville Jaguars have, in theory? Somebody could go off. But in theory, let's scare you. Well, they had DJ Chark, which is, he's a good receiver. I'll definitely take him Baltimore if he had the chance, but he's a good receiver. Okay, but you have Marlowe there, right? So going to the Giants, which receiver scare you will table. Again, you have Marlon. And then week 17, that's the one that has a lot of receivers, but they have no quarterback. If you need that game, potentially you can have all these guys active. And then Jimmy Smith should not play any more games all the way to the start of the playoff if we make it. And I think we should. Marcus Peters, again, if he's a little bit unhealthy, this is a game that you take off. Defense still, without Marcus Peters, should be good. The corners, we're thin. We are definitely thin, but we should be fine. This is a surprise for me. Jahad Ward's a guy that I feel like always plays hard, always plays good. I don't know if he's injured or if he's dealing with something, but he's in the inactive, not in the injury list. I don't know. I'm surprised about the Jahad Ward. I love that guy. I'm not a fan of him being inactive, especially for over Washington, which is more of a nose tackle. Ward can do he can do a lot of things. Christian Welch, sure, I don't care about that. Colin Castillo. Let me say something about Kristen or TCC. Let's call him TCC. Shout out to him because I have two last names like him. That's why I'm SCG. But Colin Castillo, I think he should be active over Skura. He plays so much better than Skura. I'm done with Skura, as you know. I will bench Skura, or I know he's benched, but I'll inactive him and put TCC. And Calais Campbell, no. I have to tell you guys, Calais is not well. You know how you know that? Do you need Calais to win this game? Again, you shouldn't. But he wants to play this game. And if he's out, it's because he can't go. I would say the same thing that I said about Jimmy Smith. Calais Campbell should not play in the final 3 games. You should not need Calais Campbell to win this final 3 games. You should not. You need him, though, for whoever it is, the first game that you play in the playoffs. Bills, sure you need him. Steelers, and Tennessee Colts, one of them. All those 3 teams, you need him. This is Calais Campbell and Jimmy Smith should not play for the rest of the year. Mark my word, they should not play for the rest of the year because we need a healthy Calais Campbell. We definitely need a healthy Jimmy Smith because what happens as soon as that third corner. Now, Williams had played fairly well, but as soon as, I guess, the fourth corner, you talk about Bonds, you talk about Harris, I'm blanking, whoever else is there. Whoever it is, that fourth corner, it's not good. It's definitely not good. Averett, I'm okay with. And Averett's playing today, so you're going to see a lot of Averett. So seeing here, shout out to my guy, LRJ. He keeps me up to date every time with injuries. He says the Jahad Ward was a healthy scratch. Again, not a fan of that because I think Ward plays so much better than Washington. and some of the other guys. And I understand developmental, but you know what? I'm about winning games. And although I said you don't need Campbell, you should not need Ward, but Ward probably is a factor in the play. Like if today was playoff game, I'll say like bench Washington. If we had a cushion, we're like, we don't care. If we lose, again, we shouldn't lose. Then I get it. But Ward is a guy looking for a contract this year. He ain't gonna be here because he's pissed off that we don't play him enough. But he has played well when he plays there, so we should have him there. Wolf been playing solid. I agree with that. The one, shout out to you. He is. I love Wolf, especially in the running attack. I love Wolf. And if you think about, we played Tennessee and we lost to Tennessee. We didn't have two-thirds of our D-line, and our D-line is excellent against the run. Excellent. So if we play Tennessee again and we have a healthy Calais Campbell, and Big Baby, he does his thing, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. Now you're gonna see some Des Bryant today. You're gonna see some of that, that should be good. Yes. So Tyus Bowser is up next for extension. Look, I don't know who they're gonna pick. They had Yannick Ngakoue. Not Giannis Antetokounmpo. Yannick Ngakoue. They have Judon, and they have Bowser. Bowser, in theory, is the cheapest. I've been saying this early this year. I like what Bowser brings to the team. He's like a Swiss Army. He brings a lot of elements, but he is not the end-all, be-all. Right? He's not. He's a guy that plays well. He plays hard, but he's not your pass rusher guy. He definitely great flashing out of the against the flat. He defends well those out routes. Very athletic. So I definitely would like to keep him. Special teams, he's pretty good as well. I think they're gonna keep one of the two, Yannick versus or Judon. I don't know which, but yeah. Here the Money 100 says Ward is better than Ferguson and Washington. I agree with that. I think Fergie has been playing better, but I think Ward is better than both of them. And Ward definitely brings versatility. Because if you think about Ward, you kick him in as a D tackle, you kick him out as an outside linebacker, you kick him to a 3-4 DN, and he excels in. Well, I'm not gonna say excel. He plays pretty solid in all three phases. Fergie is an outside rusher, pass rusher only. He doesn't like Bowser flashes back to play zone. He's fairly well. I would say Judon flashes back and he plays fairly well. Yannick Ngakoue and Fergie, both of them are more pass rusher specialists. They're decent against the run, but nothing that you're like, oh my God, I have to be concerned. If you see him, if both of them, you see them dropping back, you go after them. Again, Judon does a fairly well job. Bowser does it even better. So it's important for that. In the case of Ward, I have seen him flashing some coverage. He's not bad. Better than Fergie, better than Yannick. And that's not good at, I'm just not against Yannick. I'm more against Fergie. Fergie's a specialist against the pass rush. But again, in the case of Ward, you can take him out in the 3-4 DN. You can take him to outside linebacker, handstand, hand under their two technique, D tackle. I mean, he is very, very versatile. So that's why I'm surprised. I think the Ravens are doing a disservice to not having him. The Joker, what up, man? Shout out to you. Thank you for joining the live stream. Thoughts on Jimmy, Peters, and Campbell out today, and Ingram. Like I said, Ingram, I love the energy of Ingram. And at this point, that's what I need for him. The energy, the cheerleader. If you tell me he should be RB3 and not RB4, I think Justice Hills brings 0 to the table. 0. Now, what I would say, Justice Hills have been doing good, to give him credit, in special teams. Obviously, Ingram can't play there. But I hate when I see Justin Hills trotting into the field. I'm like, no, why? Give me some Gus. Give me some JK. So I think that's probably why Ingram is bench over Hill, not because Ingram's a worse running back. He's better than Hill. The other three for the Joker, I think, need to get healthy. I talked about it. I opened the stream like that. Need to get healthy. This is a game. You should not need these guys to play a Minshew Magic Jaguars team. So William Brown says Judon does more covering than pass rushing in the system. He does both. But the thing is, that's in a 3-4 outside linebacking core. That's what you do. We say that a lot because we don't see him producing a lot of pass or sacks. You know who does that a lot? Mr. Von Miller. If you watch a Broncos game, Von Miller drops to coverage a lot. And he pass or rush a lot. And the thing is, when he's pass rushing, he's excelling. So that's important. It's not a pass. When you're an outside linebacker in a 3-4 defense, you are asked way more than in a 4-3. That usually if that fifth guy is coming to rush. In a 3-4, you can do that. You might not, but it's important to note that difference. Okay. Give me a quick second here. Hold on. Just want to make sure. Okay. So Dre says Skura was never really that good. He was good for the fact that he was. I agree. I think Skura had one really good year. Let me not say everything bad with Skura. I think he had one really good year. But before that, it was not great. After that, it was not great, especially as a center. It is what it is. Look, Powers has been the guy that I thought he was. Pre-draft 2 years ago, I thought that we should target him. We targeted him. We drafted. I was surprised that this year he didn't want that right guard position. I think he's better than Tyreek Phillips. Now, I'm going to tell you guys something that I told my co-host from the AFC North Talk. And I don't know. I invited a couple people. I don't know if they're going to make it. If they do, I'm going to propose this to them. If Tyreek Phillips keeps developing to the decent right tackle, and OBJ, Orlando Brown Jr., plays well as a left tackle, you might see, hear me out, you might see the Ravens trading Orlando Brown Jr. this offseason. There's a bunch of teams that need a left tackle. Orlando Brown will be in his final year next year of the contract. The Ravens probably don't have money to pay him. If he plays well as a left tackle, there's going to be a bunch of teams there that need a left tackle. You can go to them and give me your first. Boom. And with that first, now you can get your receiver, whatever. That is if Tyreek Phillips plays well as a right tackle. That is an important distinguish. Because look, then your O-line. You have Stanley in the left tackle. Bozeman, the left guard, going to his final year of the – and that's fine because I don't think Bozeman is that guy that needs to be here after that. You drafted a bunch of guards. One of them can take his position. Macari at center, Powers at right guard, and then you have Phillips on the right tackle. That would hurt me. I'm not going to lie because I love OBJ. I love Orlando Brown Jr. The reality is we don't have enough money. And that is a guy that if he plays well in the left tackle position, in my opinion, if you tell me, Sonny, just grade him. But I think Orlando Brown's like a C+ type of left tackle, a B+ right tackle. If somebody's willing to give you a first or one of the top teams in the second round, right? We're talking Jets got Becton, so I don't think the Jets will do it. But I don't know. One of the top teams currently, maybe the Cowboys, right? Maybe the Cowboys are willing to give you that first or second round first pick, and you do it, right? Because again, the problem is you don't have enough money for Orlando Brown Jr. And I think he should bring you a first, at worst a high second, at best a first and a third, and that would be great. That's what you want. But you want to keep him, but again, I don't think that mathematical money will work. And with that, again, offseason will come. You know what I do. I break down players every week, position-wise. You guys used to send me players, and I'll keep doing that, and I'll be putting videos of those players, okay? Okay, let me see here. Edward George, shout out to you, man. Thank you for joining the live stream. Campbell hasn't been 100% since the New England game. Yes, that's why he shouldn't play any more game for the regular season. Dre says, yo, anyone in Towson know a good place to watch the game? Yeah, I don't know with the restrictions. How's that going, Dre? Yeah, which is sad, man. I miss going to watch the game with some, I used to do that last year in Baltimore. That was cool. Gerald, shout out to you, man. Thank you for your live stream. William Brown says, O-line play around the league has been trashed. Some will overpay for Orlando Brown. And that's my point, William. And, you can keep him for one more year, but you can probably flip him for a first. That's my thing. You can probably flip him for a first. Think about the Cardinals probably need a left tackle / right tackle. Again, versatile. Now he can play both. Think about the Giants. Their pick was horrible. Maybe they want to move him to the right tackle and put Orlando Brown to the left tackle. Let me see here. Hold on. I'm going to tell you teams that I think we could potentially see the Ravens trade Orlando Brown. And then we're going to talk Jaguars because we haven't talked about Jaguars yet. Okay, come on. Come on, people. Okay, here it goes. Okay, so the Jets, I don't think so. Oh, wait. Jaguars could. I don't think they will give you the second overall pick. I'll take it if they won. But I don't think so. Chargers, definitely. That's a possibility. Ooh, Atlanta, Carolina. Look, there's a lot of Cowboys. The Eagles need a left tackle badly. The Giants need a left tackle, in my opinion. Basically, most of these teams need a left tackle, right? So that is pretty good. You have suitors. It's not like you won't have suitors. Thomas says Orlando Brown Jr. will be a great pickup for the Jets. Do you get McChickens? Shout out to Smody. This is an internal joke because Smody used to donate us a buck or two for our McChickens to me and Nubo. Shout out to my boy Joe Nubo. Haven't been in one of his streams for a while. And thank you for the donation, man. I appreciate it. And I would say thank you for everybody that is watching and sticking with the channel. The channel is not doing great, I know, because of the numbers. I knew it was going to happen as soon as I had to take this hiatus. But anyway, and if you haven't, also my other channel with my co-host, you have to check it out, AFC North Talk. It's a great show, very, very fun. Okay, now Jaguars. Look, the game against the Jaguars is a very simple game, meaning stop the run. Let's start with that. Robinson is decent running back. So stop the run. Also contain Minshew because Minshew likes to slip out of the pocket. And I don't know. He likes this is why they call him Minshew Magic because he slips out of the pockets and makes good passes without. Nothing is there, and then he throws the ball, and you're like, "Well, who's throwing?" Boom, there's a catch. So make sure containment in the pocket, especially since we cannot pass rush a lot. Just try to keep him in the pocket, stop the run, and then that is it. That is the secret on offense. Marlon and Clark, done. Their weapons are very limited. And now on the other side on defense, you're gonna run the ball. You're gonna run the ball hard, especially if you think about Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm gonna try to pull these numbers here. Hold on. Where is it? Here it is. Jacksonville Jaguars. Jacksonville Jaguars couldn't contain Henry in Tennessee. Now we know Henry. Oh wait, I didn't answer your question. So I think there are McChickens here. They're definitely McDonald's. I think there's McChickens. I ate a quarter pounder the other day, which was good. They couldn't contain Henry. Well, the problem with Baltimore is none of our runners are better than Henry, right? Physical downhill runner, but slippery, shifty. That's what we have, misdirection. Miles Jack is good, yes, but Miles Jack is gonna be spinning, right? He's gonna be spinning because he doesn't know where this ball is going. This is a game similar to last week. Lamar will throw for around 200, in my opinion. Run for near 100. This is their formula. This is what you need to keep. Jacob will rush for almost 100. Gus will rush for almost 100, and we're gonna take this dub. You need to burn clock, time of possession. Again, defense being hurt with injuries. I know if you listen to a lot of the YouTubers, a lot of the media, they will tell you right now, the Ravens defense have all these assets and they're not producing. Well, the reality is it's hard to produce with injuries. It's not necessarily that the Ravens defense is allocating money and they should have. It is when you get injured, it happens, right? Example. if we would be playing, I don't know, Calais Campbell, no, not Calais, sorry. If we would be paying Hollywood Brown, Lamar, and Stanley and Mandrews, right? And they get hurt for a game. Let's say the COVID against the Steelers. You're like, oh my God, well, the offense improves. Yeah, because the offense is injured. This is the same argument that I keep hearing for the defensive side. Oh, wait, the defense is not producing. Yes, the defense is hurt. So it's hard to produce when your defense is not there. So that's very important. Don't let people tell you this defense is playing bad. The defense is playing with a hand in the back of the behind their back. The corners are playing good until the corners are not playing. Marlon Humphrey has been there, which is good. When Peters is there, he's been decent. Jimmy has been playing good, and then you get like 5 corners on IR. Well, definitely that third corner is going to suffer their gameplay. The Jacksonville Jaguars, look, they play decent against Baker and the boys over there. That was with Mike Glennon. Mike Glennon tends to pull games out of their butt. James Robinson is the guy that, again, that we need to watch. They have a guy that I know a lot of you know because a lot of you wanted to draft in Laviska Shenault. Laviska's a guy that you just need to watch because he does a lot of things, but it's nothing. And the receiving side, he's nothing special. I think it should be fine. Again, Minshew came against the Tennessee Titans, and he played decent, 178 with 1 touchdown. Robinson was stopped, and that's how they blew them out. This is the thing. You have to keep watching. Keelan Cole is the other guy for them. He's a more volume catcher. Well, I think we should be fine against Keelan Cole. And if you see Minshew will throw a lot of intermediate passes to short passes. As long as they don't get first down, so obviously make sure you play them tight, put that safety over the top, and we should be fine. Jay Will says, I got a feeling that the Ravens will let Gus walk and draft another RB. LL, it's some great backs coming out in this draft. Yeah, maybe. Okay. So our issue is we didn't have Smith and Peters this week. Okay, let me say this. I have to welcome. We have a special guest. One of the guys said present here, and we have the one and only Mr. Great Ing Raven.
Ain't no special guest, man. But I appreciate you having me on, man.
Appreciate you coming. Shout out to Ing Raven, my guy. And it's funny because I know a lot of people in the ESC North talk love Ing Raven as well, and people are like I almost feel like people think we don't talk between each other, meaning the YouTubers and the Raven squad. Yeah. Yo, we have a chat, which, by the way, this was put by Mr. Ing Raven here. We have a special chat group in Raven. And we talk, guys. There's this love between the YouTubers, at least for most of them. I know there's a guy that I heard some rumors, but for the most part, it's all love here. We help each other, so there's no bad blood. Right. Anyway, yes, Thomas Morgan. Gus is a restricted free agent. This is why I think Gus will come back next year. The following year, he gone. Anyway, and Raven, I'm gonna propose something to you. I talked to the guys about this. I don't know if you were listening before. I know you were doing some stuff, so you probably weren't. This year in the offseason, as we're getting closer to paying a lot of people, right? There's a guy that I think has a lot of potential trade benefits, and I don't think we can pay him. I don't know if you think, well, if I tell you that, pick a guy that will bring you a lot of trade capital that we cannot pay, that we may have his replacement in-house. Who do you think it is?
Will he still be under contract after this year, or is his contract expiring?
No.
Still be under contract this year?
Yes, that's why we can trade him. It's not letting him go. It's trading him.
No, it can't be Mark Ingram because I don't think he would get much value. It gotta be defense because ain't nobody on offense really worth that much either.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued who you're gonna pick.
If it wasn't strictly about the money, maybe Marcus Peters, but I don't really see the Ravens trading Marcus Peters. But No, I really can't think of anybody whose contract isn't expiring. Because everybody who I can think of who's like worth anything. One person I could think of, back to the offensive side would be Ronnie Stanley. That would be one. Because in the reason, and if it depending on how the contract, I know the contract doesn't hit till next season, but I do think that if he wouldn't have got hurt, I mean, no, if he wouldn't have got paid, and he still would have got hurt, then I think he would have been traded this upcoming offseason. So I think they would have been definitely. I mean, even if they did still decide to trade him, they would definitely get big draft capital for him. But that would be somebody who I would think of. But I don't know who you're talking about.
So if Ronnie Stanley didn't get hurt, he would have been a free agent. So it would have been hard. And just for the record, I don't think that is a crazy idea. But if you trade Stanley, that's a $36 million cap hit.
Oh, it's dead money? Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
So the guy that I'm talking is this near there. Let me take this. Who's tick in the house? Team, keep it clean.
That's my guy.
That's Modius. Oh yeah, man. I met him in the bar one day. He's a great guy. No, I'm not talking about Ronnie. So Tim Miller had the same idea that you had. Shout out to the round to Orlando Brown Jr. And my reasoning to trading OBJ, Orlando Brown Jr., is play really good as a right tackle. I think, in my opinion, he's a B+ right tackle. I think he's a C+ left tackle. But if he finished the year,
I feel like he's been better at left tackle than right tackle. I feel like at right tackle, he was getting abused.
But the problem, so the reason why he was getting abused, I think he struggles with quicker pass rushers. Okay. And we haven't seen many of that. And as soon as Stanley, and the thing is, when we played teams, they said, okay, you are my best pass rusher. You cannot go to the blind side, go to the right side because Stanley is there. But anyway, if he keeps playing well, his trade value will go up. A lot of people need a left tackle. You see, Tunsil got 2 firsts and a third. He's not Tunsil. I'm not trying to say that he's Tunsil. But even if you get a first for Orlando Brown Jr., a first and a third, or an early second, meaning let's say the Jets want to give you their first pick in the second round for Orlando Brown Jr., Orlando Brown Jr., a guy that it will hurt me if we don't bring him back, but a guy that is money-wise going to cost a lot. And he and Lamar Jackson are basically at the same time. Him, Orlando, or Mark Andrews and Lamar Jackson are up in contract at the same time. You know, Mark Andrews, they're going to bring him back because that's his boy. That's Lamar Jackson's boy. Lamar Jackson will come back. So who's the odd man out? It's Orlando Brown. I think Ben Powers has been playing great in right tackle or right guard. And I think if you can get Phillips to play a decent right tackle, then you should be good in your line. But I would like to see your take on that.
Yeah, I can see that because you can't pay everybody. And especially with him being put into that left tackle role, that makes his value get increased that much more because, you know, of course, left tackles, they make more money than right tackles. But just the fact that he's shown that he can play both and he can play both on an NFL level, it's like, okay, yeah, that does make his value go like way up. It would set the Ravens back a bit. It would give them less flexibility. But it is I could see them doing that because with them they like getting stuff done early rather than later. But that's a good point, Thomas. He said that would give the Jets 2 maulers at tackle. Oh, and Trevor Lawrence too. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So example, Jets are a team that if you think about it, they need a good O-line, right? If they're going to get Lawrence. You give us the second and maybe a fourth or maybe second and third, which is for tackle, that's a good price, second and third. Now, for us, that would be great because it's the first pick in the second round, first pick in the third round. And then now you have your left tackle, your right tackle of the future with your quarterback. That will make sense for the Jets. And I think for us, then we can invest in some of the positions that we need. Maybe we can trade up a little bit or just pick there, stay put. And here's something that I keep hearing. Then with those picks, you can definitely target a guy like Allen Robinson, which I love. I do love Allen Robinson from Penn State, currently with the Bears. And it is hard because Orlando Brown Jr. is also for Ravens. It's a little bit sentimental as well, right?
Oh yeah,
Meaning his dad. So when he came, it was all about that's footsteps. But again, my Ravens fans is just how can you keep him? I don't think we will have the money to keep him. We might, but I just don't see it right now. He's a good right tackle. I don't think he is the end all be all of right tackle. You're gonna say something?
Yeah, they could keep him. They could sign him to a big extension, but then it's like where are you putting your money at? And you have so many other people that you got to pay. And hopefully the Ravens will start to sort of turn the corner to where they actually make more investments in their offense. Now, he would definitely be an investment in the offense, but I'm speaking more as to like playmaking wide receivers, like a veteran wide receiver, to go along with Hollywood and Boykin, Duvernay, Prochet. Because I'm not saying just throw out the whole receiving room, anything like that. Still, you want these guys, you want some young guys that can grow with Lamar and grow with the team. But to get him a guy, a veteran, not an old veteran, not a guy that's on his way out the league, but somebody that's like a true number one receiver, a big frame guy, somebody with the stature of a Miles Boykin. Like if Miles Boykin, if they could turn him into that guy, that would be great. I don't really see it, but Miles Boykin is I feel like he's like the perfect prototype for that, man. He's like 6'4", 6'5", got some good speed, but I don't see the Ravens developing Miles Boykin into a legitimate threat or a legitimate number one. It'd be nice if they did, but I don't have that much faith in them because of their history. But so that's why I say they need a guy that's already established. They need a veteran guy who could just come in and help out with the passing game big time.
Yep. There's two positions that I think the Ravens need to upgrade. It will be wide receiver, obviously. I'm talking specifically on offense. It's tight end. Although we have Mark Andrews, we need that second tight end because Lamar loves to exploit that middle of the field. Yeah. And those tight ends, especially if it's a good blocking tight end, because then you don't know when they block and when they throw. Those are two positions that the Ravens can upgrade this offseason, and they should upgrade this offseason. And I think it should not be drafting. It should be signing. They will have the money. Look, a lot of people ask me, like, Sonny, but also the money-wise, how it will work. Well, look, you think about this. Calais Campbell is up for a contract basically when Lamar's up for a contract. And Calais Campbell will be old enough that you're not going to bring him. Marcus Peters' also contract expires by the time Lamar's contract comes up. And if you still see all this is why also if you trade Orlando Brown Jr., now you have more pieces for a trade because you can take the second and a third and flip it for a stellar wide receiver because a wide receiver value in the trade market is not as high as a good offensive lineman in the trading block. So that is key and that is very important to note. So saying that, look, this is not an indictment on Orlando Brown Jr. It's actually saying that dude plays really good and we cannot pay him. Yeah. In the case of Miles Boykins, I've been disappointed with Miles Boykins. I think the problem with Miles Boykins is route running hasn't been there, and when they put him to run a route that he's not still familiar with, he's too in his head, he's thinking too much, so he doesn't let his body flow as it is. In the case here, we need our Anquan Bolding, our TJ Husmanzada, our Mason, right? That guy that is a dog that is willing to fight for a ball. That's not Hollywood Brown either. Hollywood Brown's your more finesse guy, which is what Torrey Smith was too, right? Torrey, which is one of my favorite Raven receiver. That's what Torrey was. Now, Torrey fought for that ball more than Hollywood Brown. But they were more finesse guy, right? They're more go get the ball. Who is that gritty guy that we have? Well, Snead is good, but he ain't that guy, right? And the Ravens need that Anquan Boldin, Mason, T.A. Husmanzada. And we had it on Steve Smith. Steve Smith might have been short, but he was a dog, right? He was that guy that would jump and he will fight for that ball. Lamar needs that guy. Because right now, think about this. When Flacco was under duress, All he did was like, Bolden, your cover. I'm just gonna throw it there, dude. And you are either gonna catch it, bat it down, doesn't matter. But you're gonna make a play or not let the other team make a play. Who is Lamar's guy there? Well, Mark Andrews, which is good. And then Joe Flacco had his Pitta. But I need that receiver on the outside. We had nothing. And I think a guy like Allen Robinson could. I know the Ravens tried to get DeAndre Hopkins, which, my God, if we had here D-Hop, that would have been amazing. Obviously, we don't have him. But there is a ton of other receivers out there that potentially are going to be there up for trades. Yeah. A guy like Mike Evans looks not to be super happy over there in Tampa. He's not a guy.
If he's not happy in Tampa, I don't know if he's going to get much happier with the Ravens. Man.
Well, I think the problem is he's not getting as much targets, and he's used to a volume target, right? Exactly. A guy like Allen, right? It's a guy that the Chargers might be looking to move away from him. Or another guy that it could be, I think he's a free agent this year, Mike Williams. Although Mike Williams, even though he's a 50-50 guy, injury prone is the concern with him. What receiver would you like the Ravens to target? Because I agree with you. It has to be a big body frame, 50-50 guy, not a speedster over the top. That's what we have, Duvernay in Hollywood. But who is that receiver that you would like them to target?
Yeah, big frame guy. I would love a Mike Evans. Mike Williams, too. Mike Williams, man, like, jeez. I know Keenan Allen was somebody that I would have loved for them to trade for this past offseason, but no Chargers. They just signed him to like a 3-4 year extension.
Oh, they did. Okay.
For the season. But yeah, like Mike Williams, Mike Evans. Yeah, getting one of them Mikes in here. I know some people talked about Chris Godwin, but I'm like whatever about him. But just that big body frame receiver that can go get it. Because with Lamar, and hopefully this improves as his career goes along. Right now, Lamar Jackson, one thing that he does not do is throw receivers open. He throws to open receivers, but he doesn't throw receivers open.
Agreed.
So with him, he's still very safe with the ball. He doesn't, but and hopefully again as time goes on, hopefully that'll improve. But so what he needs right now, what would be best for him, would be somebody that he can rely on to get that 50-50 ball, to get that jump ball, to, like Sonny was just saying, somebody that will go and get it. Because right now with majority of Ravens receivers, like with Hollywood, with Boykin, Snead, he goes after it a lot more. But with the majority of receivers, if the ball isn't placed in the perfect spot, they won't go get it. If it's not in the perfect spot, they won't go after it. So we need somebody that can and will go after the ball, even when it's not a perfectly thrown ball, even when it's off a little bit, if it's off target a little bit. Of course, we've seen Hollywood throughout this year. Just it's been a lack of effort. And then it's funny because with Hollywood, he was always dropping the ball. Like him dropping the ball, it wasn't anything new this year. But when he sent his tweet, that's when all eyes were on him. And then all these people were like, oh, man, Hollywood got all these drops. He keep dropping the ball. But he was already dropping passes earlier. But with him, it's been a lack of effort with actually going out and getting it. With Miles Boykin, it had been the same way. If it's not placed perfectly, then he wouldn't even go get it. With Devin Duvernay, we haven't had many examples of it, but the biggest one that stuck out to me, well, I think it was in the Steelers. It was either Steelers or Titans game. I think it might have been Titans game. Where Lamar threw it, Duvernay was on the outside, but Lamar, he brought the ball back inside, and it was a bad pass by Lamar. So it was definitely on Lamar, but Duvernay just stopped, and he had an opportunity to get it, but he just stopped and like gave this like poor effort with trying to get the ball. So if we had a guy like that had a wide catch radius, I think that would help Lamar just so much as a quarterback, and just it would up his confidence, it would up his completion percentage, and it would just up it would up his game as Ravens starting quarterback. And we maybe almost had that guy with the whole DeAndre Hopkins thing that just hurt, man.
That hurts.
Oh, that was the worst, man. And then it would have been nice too if they could have got Adam Thielen. Because there was that talk that they were talking to the Vikings. They were talking about Yannick Ngakoue when they were talking about getting him. But I think just we need a big frame receiver with a big catch radius, like somebody to. Again, Miles Boykin has it, but he just lacks the mental part right now. Somebody like, not saying we would get Julio Jones, but somebody like that, somebody like a Julio Jones, like a Mike Evans, like a Mike Williams, just that big frame, like a Calvin Johnson.
Yeah. Oh, there's another guy that's probably gonna be a free agent. I don't know if he will come to Baltimore itself, which is AJ Green. He's not gonna be super expensive. The problem with AJ Green is staying healthy, right?
Yeah.
That is a problem. So saying that in Raven, I remember the play that you're talking about vividly, because I remember saying this: look, a great receiver makes that catch, because it would have stopped, adjust, and make the play. Like D-Hop would have made that catch. A receiver with a lot of effort wouldn't make the catch, but wouldn't make it a pick, because remember that ball was picked. Because Duvernay, as soon as he saw that, should have been one of two things. Duvernay's not the biggest guy, so I'm not saying jump and bat it. I would have just push the guy. Offensive pass interference. Yeah, okay, that's fine. Offensive pass interference, but we still had the ball. So that those are the places where you need your guys to make plays. And look, as for Tommy Victor, I don't think the Ravens were ever on to Diggs. I don't think, especially with that price tag. But the D-Hop, they were, and that was the rumor. The problem was the Houston didn't want to trade it to the AFC. So that's obviously is problematic. Thielen is another guy that potentially could be still there for next year, and I'm trying to pull his contract here. Let me see, because I don't think Thielen has next year, so they can in theory cut Thielen without giving anything, right? His base salary is 11.1. That's not horrible for the Ravens, so that's definitely a possibility for next year. And again, if you trade Orlando Brown Jr., you can flip those picks for a guy like Thielen. It won't cost you as much as, and look, the Vikings is a team that needs O-line help. So potentially you can trade Thielen in Orlando and maybe get a third or a second, right?
See, I think real quick, I think with Tim Miller's point, with Tommy Victor's point, when he said you look at Diggs, and I mean, he's been night and day for Josh Allen. I think his point wasn't even that the Ravens could have gotten Diggs, which they probably could, but I think that his biggest point was when you get your young quarterback, a true number one guy, and you see the difference that it can make, not only with the quarterback, but just with the entire team. Like with the Bills, they provided for Josh Allen, man. They first got him John Brown and Cole Beasley, but and they could have just chilled with that. They could have been like, "Oh, you're good. We gave you weapons," but they said, "No, we're not done yet. We want to make sure there's no excuse for you to fail." And I love how they did that, and they went out and got a Stephon Diggs. So with Lamar, what we're hoping that the Ravens will finally do will really be to go out and get that guy. Now, what makes it harder for the Ravens would be whether that guy will come via trade or via free agency, because I would think that the guy would have to come via trade, because I feel like nobody's going to be lining up to play with Lamar like that and play in this Ravens offense, because they see the type of passing attack or lack of passing attack that it is. Now, what the Ravens would have to do with a guy who was a true number one, they would really have to have some good talking points and real selling points and be like, look, we haven't had a guy like you with Lamar ever. I mean, it would only be his fourth year, but still, we haven't had a guy like you. So we need somebody like you to come help take this offense over the top. And the Ravens would have to probably, if it was a free agent, they would have to dish out a lot of extra money. Really come out of the pocket, because when you compare Ravens offense to other offenses around the league, it's going to look less appealing to a wide receiver to come and play here. So that's why I feel like maybe a trade would be an easier route for the Ravens to go and get that guy, whoever that guy would end up being. Oh, go ahead.
No, I agree with you. I think you had to pay extra cash, which the Ravens don't have for the upcoming future. Right. So Julio Jones, another guy that you brought up. Julio Jones, the problem with him is, look, Atlanta, if I tell you Atlanta, they're not good right now. The cap situation for next year is, and the cap will go down. Yeah. Currently, cap situation is they are $25 million over the cap. And that's without the cap going down. Now, the problem is Julio Jones will count 15.5 more if they if they cut him. I think if they trade him, they might be splitting that up. Julio Jones contract 14 that trades for him is not horrible. It's 15.3 base salary. That's what the Ravens will have to pay. Look, if you can give, again, if you trade Orlando Brown 2 and a third and you give that for Julio Jones, that's good in my opinion. The thing with Julio Jones also is health. Tim Miller, shout out to you. Thank you for your donation. Sorry, I'll pick a little bit fantasy question. Thielen or Jake. I know, Raven, you don't play fantasy, right?
No.
So I will say this. If it is a PPR, I will go with Thielen because Thielen is a catching machine and usually it's good for a touchdown. Jake should have a good game. I don't think you can go wrong with either one, but in a PPR, I would lean to Thielen. Okay, so yeah, all the points you're making in Raven, they are well taken. I think this is what the Ravens need to do next year. Bring that guy. And then you can say, Lamar, you have no excuses because now, in the case of Allen, he needed a speedster on the outside, right? With John Brown, but Diggs is in another level. And they had the underneath guy. In the case of Lamar, if you bring, in my opinion, another tight end and your 50-50 guy, you have Hollywood for the outside, stretch, deep routes, and you have your 50-50 guy, chain mover, big body guy where Lamar, and especially in the red zone. Think about the red zone. When we go to the red zone, when we go to the 1st and 10, right? 1st and goal from the 7 or 8. I'm looking here like we have to run because who are we going to throw it to? Who? Well, Andrews, right? But even Andrews, because Andrews not overly athletic. Andrews is a big guy that knows how to find a place to get open. But he's not overly athletic, meaning think about a guy like Des Bryant when he was in his peak, or Anquan Bolden. You throw it high, you throw a fade route. Those guys go get it. That's really not Mark Andrews' game. Mark Andrews' hops are very limited. I mean, he hops, half a feet? That's what it seems like. But no, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. But you know what I'm saying. Like Lamar can just throw it high and either the receiver gets it or nobody gets it. We don't have that guy. So when we go to that 1st and 7, 1st and goal from the 7 or 8, I'm always leery like we need to run it because that's our best opportunity, or spread them out and let Lamar try to. Hopefully somebody gets open or Lamar runs him in. And that's where we're lacking on offense.
Yeah.
So for today, go ahead. Sorry.
With Lamar, one really good thing about him is that in the red zone, he makes very, 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 very good decisions. He finds a way to get those. Even Hollywood got not like he got a bunch of touchdowns in his career period, but he got quite a few or a couple in the red zone, like even on the goal line touchdown catches. So he finds a way, and obviously that's based off of his him just reading the field down there, and also him scrambling around too, buying some more time so those guys can get open, and he'll fit it in to those windows in the red zone. But yeah, having that guy and this year, especially when as the year went on, I was thinking, okay, this is gonna be the year when Miles Boykin, he could be a threat in the red zone.
I know. Nothing.
6'4", 6'5" for him. Perfect. Throw the little fade route, throw the jump ball to Boykin. Okay, let's get it. But we have not seen that at all.
The only touchdown that he has is always in the back of the end zone, but they're not like high. It's him finding, not him. As soon as Lamar starts scrambling, the defense just panics, right? They panic. And then Boykin just stays still, and Lamar's like, okay, stay there. Let me move a little bit more. Boom, there you are, open. And so it's not like go high and get it.
Yeah, that's true. And the other touchdown that he got just came from that, who are we playing? I forgot who we were playing with. Yeah, Lamar threw it a little bit high, but Boykin, if that was Hollywood or somebody shorter than Boykin,
done.
It would have been an incompletion. But since Boykin was so tall, because Lamar threw it high, but Boykin, he went in and he had to reach up and get it, and he ran through the defenders. I really forgot what game it was, but
now I can't remember the game, but I remember the play. Yeah, that's the other thing. Think about the receivers we have. Boykin's is tall, and after that, nothing against Duvernay. You guys know that I love Duvernay. Hollywood and Prochet, none of them are tall. Snead either. None of those guys are like tall, right? Now, Snead of all of them has hops. Needs tries to go up getting it. The rest of them, I haven't seen Hollywood attempting that. Duvernay and Prochet is too early, guys. They're rookies, third round or later. I'm not saying nothing about them, but Boykins is the only tall guy out there that you can say we had no length, which is crazy, right? All these tall receivers, we had no length. I think what happened was EDC said, like, how is Kansas City doing it? Well, they have a bunch of smaller, faster guys, and that's what they try to do. And that's fine, but Mahomes has probably the best arm in the league currently, and one of the most accurate arms in the league. So having fast guys that you can go running out
and get separation.
And that is fine by them. But Lamar right now, I just think who's that 50-50 guy? Kelsey it is for the Kansas City. And to some extent, Watkins also does that for them a little bit. But that's not also their game, right? The Ravens usually play tough running and two tight ends set. That's been forever. Even with Flacco. Flacco loves his tight ends. And I think Lamar does the same thing. So bring me a physical receiver and look, I'm okay. I don't know about you. I do think Boykins maybe can change to a tight end. And the reason why I say that is when you are in a tight end position, you run less routes. Your route tree is kept to a minimal because you're there to block or sometimes you're there to release and go. That's why I think Boykins might excel in that tight end role. I think he should be trying to convert himself to a tight end. But he's a disappointment so far.
And Tommy Victor, he pointed out that touchdown that Miles Boykin got, where Lamar threw it a little bit high. That wasn't a Cowboys game. So yeah, he's right. Because I do remember Van Der Esch, he kept getting in Lamar's passing lanes and messing a lot of his three specific passes up for Lamar. But appreciate that, Tommy. With Boykin, I think he could do well as a tight end. He would definitely it would take an off season. He would have to put on some more weight. And just like he had to put on a significant amount of weight, not too much, but a significant amount, because he would be there like serving as an extra offensive lineman, because that's what a tight end is enough times, because you got to be on the end of the line of scrimmage and you got to be blocking. So that would with Miles Boykin, obviously he's known as probably the best blocker on the team at the wide receiver position. So it would change some things up, but I think that he could probably look at it like, okay, this is a potential opportunity for me to do even more, or to do more, to actually be more a part of this offense, because he's a wide receiver. Like, no wide receiver wants to just be known for their blocking, because when you think about Miles Boykin, that's what he's known for on his team. He's known that he's a good blocker. No, either receivers are known for being fast, being good at the jump ball, running great routes, scoring a bunch of touchdowns, getting a bunch of yards. They're known for all these different things, but blocking is a nice bonus, but you don't want that to be the primary thing that you're looking for. So that's what Miles Boykin is right now. Now, with what you were saying about Patrick Mahomes and his receivers, that he don't really have anybody that's getting the 50-50 ball like that, except Sammy Watkins sometime. That's where Patrick Mahomes, his game, his passing game is better than Lamar Jackson's, because with his receivers, now the receivers are better over there. But them can throw them open. And we've seen it 50 million times, especially with Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill, he'll have a defender right there with him, but Patrick Mahomes will throw the ball and he'll throw it further out. So Tyreek Hill then gets that separation. And then he'll leave those defenders behind him and he'll go get that ball. But right now, and Lamar, he missed quite a few opportunities this year with Hollywood. Hollywood has beaten this guy, even gotten separation, had touchdowns, but Lamar missed him.
Against the Browns before he cramped up, right? They were back-to-back plays. I think it was Hollywood on one and Mark Andrews on the other one.
That was Willie Snead and Mark Andrews.
Yeah, Willie Snead. And they had separation, but Lamar overthrew them. He needs to work on that touch, right?
Right. And then, but in that same game, in the first quarter, on the first drive, Hollywood, he was past the defender, but Lamar threw it short. Lamar threw it short, and the defender ran into Hollywood, and it was pass interference.
Yeah, I remember that.
But yeah, Lamar. So that's been a big struggle of Lamar this year, has just been connecting on the deep ball. And I thought, like, I remember in the first Browns game, in week 1, he hit Hollywood like on like a 45-yard pass, something like that. It was beautiful. It was perfect. And I was like, okay, oh yeah, this year, Lamar about to be on point with the deep ball. But
it's consistency, right? We've seen him doing it. It's not like you're like, we never seen Lamar doing it. It's consistency with Lamar. Even sometimes the short passes. Like there was one play, was it the Browns or Tennessee? This Boykins were just wide open in the back of the end zone, and he tried to throw it, and it just bounced. I mean, it was maybe a 15-yard pass because Boykins was in the back of the end zone, and he might have been like in the 6th, Lamar. So it's consistency. He needs to figure out if it is in his mechanics. I know he likes to put that elbow a little too high and drop the sideway pass. He needs to figure out what it is so he can become a little bit more accurate. Now, I'm not a guy that hates that he throws a sidearm. I'm just saying he needs to figure out what is it, whatever it is that needs, because that, look, we all say Lamar legs elite legs. Pass on the side of his arm, he has a good arm, just an inconsistent arm. If he gets his arm as consistent as his legs, not 100%, let's say if his arms is 75% of what his legs are, game over. Game over. Because if he's accurate, right? If he's accurate enough, not even throwing the guys open, as you said that Mahomes does. But even the problem that I have with Lamar is when the guys are open, sometimes he doesn't get it to him because he's not as accurate. If he gets those receivers just accurately when they're open, and when they're running a drag route, throw it in front instead of behind, the league is in trouble because now how you can defend this guy? Because right now you say, okay, I'm going to stack the box and let him throw. And he will make you pay sometimes, and then he will make a mistake, and that's a problem. And then, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. You know what's funny too, is that even the last touchdown, or the only touchdown that he threw the other night in the Browns game, that pass was a little behind Hollywood.
Oh yeah,
it wasn't the best pass in the world. Now, of course, it was great because it got completed, and Hollywood got the yak and got the touchdown. But that pass was even a little behind him. But thankfully it wasn't to where, because Hollywood did have to like come back a little bit. Thankfully it wasn't, he had to just stop. But yeah, it's just, Lamar definitely got to work on the touch a bit.
But think about this. Remember the Cowboys game? That scrambling to the left, touchdown pass to Hollywood on the corner of the end zone. That was a dime. This is what my thing is. He can do it. He just doesn't do it consistently.
You got to get up, man.
Anyway, who do you have this game against the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Well, I definitely got the Ravens. I got them either scoring 34 points or it being like 31-3. So maybe not 31-3. Something where it's a combined total of 34 points. Okay. Ravens, because I think they're going to do that for Mr. Lorenzo Talafiero. But yeah, I got the Ravens in this. I think they possibly start off a tiny bit slow, just because of exactly what the Browns game was and everything, and how possibly draining that could have been for them. But I do think that I think they win this one big. I think they get off to a slow start, but once they get rolling, they don't stop. And hopefully Tyler Huntley can come out in the fourth quarter and get some game time in, because that will, Ravens got a huge lead, and they took care of business. I do think this is going to be a big game for Wink. I think this is going to be a huge game for Wink because he is going to have to make big time adjustments because Marcus Peters out, Jimmy Smith out. So starting corners, Marlon Humphrey, Anthony Averett. It's definitely a drop off there. But they got enough to get it done. They got Anthony Averett, Terrell Bonds, Pierre Desir, 3 guys who I know, especially with Anthony Averett and Terrell Bonds, they've struggled a bit. And with Pierre Desir, I really haven't heard anything good about him from any Colts fans.
But I thought Williams was playing, right?
Who?
Trayvon Williams.
Okay, I forgot about him.
I think he's gonna play the slot guy.
Playing, because he's been out. I know he was out last game, and I think before that too. But so yeah, that'll be good for him to be out there too. We got to rely on a 37-year-old cornerback. 32-year-old wide receiver who hasn't played in like 3 years, but it's all good, man. Ravens they can get it done.
I
So
agree with you. I think, look, Calais Campbell's not playing, which is a travesty because I know he wanted to get back. But Yannick he should have a good game. The O-line for the Jacksonville Jaguars is not great. So he should have a good game. He should be strong. He should play hard in this game. I think this is Raiders' victory. I would love a shout out. I think what you said would be beautiful if by the fourth quarter we have Huntley there. That we haven't had one of those games in a minute. And we need that, right? We need some rest. And I did say before you came in, Raven, I think Calais Campbell should not play for the rest of the year because neither of these next three teams, we should need them. We should need Campbell to beat them, but we need him for the playoff. And I will say the same thing for Jimmy Smith. Jimmy Smith had been trying to play hurt, and it's not working. So he should sit down, just get well, because we will need him for the playoff. The rest of the team should be good enough to beat the next three teams. Go ahead.
That would certainly be something, man. If they, because they do play the Jaguars, they play the Giants, they play the Bengals. So that's Gardner Minshew, Daniel Jones, or Colt McCoy, and then I forgot who the quarterback is for the Bengals.
Finley.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah, that's Marcus Peters had a field day with him last year.
Yeah.
But he does have another year of experience, another year of training camp or whatever they're training. Anyway, they are playing three lesser opponents on paper. But that's where it's dangerous because when you play somebody that doesn't have anything to play for, those can be some of the most dangerous games. And these are all three of these are trap games.
I agree.
Jaguars, Giants, and Bengals, all trap games. Now, under Lamar, the Ravens haven't fallen for the trap game, and I don't expect them to. But that would be a beautiful thing if they could get by these three games without Calais Campbell and possibly without Jimmy Smith. I would expect him to return next week, but if they can get by these three games, I would expect Jimmy Smith to return next week. But if they can get by these three games without those guys, and hopefully the Patriots take care of business today or the Texans.
That would be lovely.
I don't expect the Texans to. I would the Patriots have our best bet for today.
Yeah,
but I mean we'll start seeing in about 15 minutes. But if they can take care, if the Ravens get in the playoffs and then they can get Calais Campbell and Jimmy Smith back and healthy, that could go a long way for them, man. Because both of those two make hey, what's up, coach? Both of those two, they make such a big impact on this Ravens team and on this Ravens defense, man.
I agree.
It goes such a long way, man.
Yeah, and this is why I think we need them for the playoffs specifically. But look, I agree with Raven and Coach saying this is a trap game. I'm saying we need to rest them, but that doesn't mean the rest of the people that are playing, they have to come hard and play hard against these teams. Reality is, guys, if we win the rest of the games, it's a pretty good chance we make it. Miami has a couple of tough games on their schedule. The Colts specifically, they play the Steelers next week, so they have a tough game there. Yeah. We should make it at 11-5. If we drop one, I think we're done. So we should make it. We need to keep playing hard. We need to keep playing with passion. We need to come and impose our will early, not let any of these teams hang around and give them hope. Break their soul, and then just roll with them. And do what you do best. Run hard, run the ball, and then you get them sleeping and go over the top. I think it's a big Ravens win. I'm guessing this is my 30-10 is what I'm probably going to say. And Ngabwe comes in and gets 2 sacks in this game. And we roll. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let the stream to here because it's 15 minutes to the game and everybody's going to get prepared. I'm going to start streaming before the game if possible. So check those out. On Mondays, I move my streams to Mondays now, 5:45 because that is 10:45 for me. So go also check those out. And AFC North Talk Tuesdays and Thursdays if you haven't. Obviously, I appreciate Raven coming in. Everybody here knows Raven, but Raven, where they can find you, man?
Appreciate you having me on too, man. This team keep it clean. Engraven Vids, that's the YouTube channel. Y'all come through on YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, everything Engraven Vids, man.
Yeah, and he has the podcast too, so check that out. Are you gonna be streaming during the game?
Yeah, we should.
Okay. So from here, you can go to his channel, go check him out because he's going to be live streaming during the game. I appreciate everybody coming. Love you all. Stay safe over there, guys. And like I said in the AFC North talk, if you have some extra money right now, go check out the food banks. There's a lot of people that need that. I'm at least try whatever it is helps. Also, Toys for Tots is another great organization as Christmas and the holidays are coming. If you can, that's fine. But if you have a little bit extra, if you're blessed, go ahead and do that donation to them. I know they will appreciate it. Thank you for the people that donated to the channel. I also appreciate that. Go check my guy in Raven, his live feed, and we'll see you next time. Peace out.